All right, we got this all welded up. Laid down a couple of nice beads on that. Put a couple tacks on the back side. We'll go ahead and get this thing primed and painted and get it installed. Hey, Jeff at Sweet Sounds here, Mankato, Minnesota. Back again, kind of a neat little project we got going on today. This is a 2013 Honda Odyssey. This is a Rollx built vehicle. It is an accessible van, and we've already done a remote start on this one. We did that here a couple of months ago, if memory serves. But the customers have had some issues with batteries dying, and it just happens because there's only one battery in this vehicle. They sit around, use the screens, batteries get drained down, and of course that's a huge problem when you need the accessible features to be able to get in and out of the van. So we discussed it with them, how to upgrade the power supply in this vehicle, and that's what it's back here today to do. So in this vehicle, it had a good aftermarket battery. That's an interstate battery. Those are actually pretty good batteries from the factory, or from Rollx. I'm assuming that's who put it in there. But we want even better performance, and we want more. Under the hood of this vehicle, though, there's not a whole lot of room. This normally sits over here. Not a whole lot of room for an additional battery. So what we did is we went ahead and chose to do 2 of the Stinger high-performance AGM batteries. Literally the best AGM batteries we've ever had a chance to use. We've already installed the one in the front. We still got wiring to upgrade in there. And then we have to put the fuse holders on to connect between the 2 batteries. And then what we're doing is we're going to put a secondary battery on the inside. Now, one of the nice things about these particular Stinger batteries is they come with these metal cases, which give us a lot of flexibility when it comes to mounting these things. We can weld brackets onto those things. We can bolt through those things, a whole lot of different features. So let's go ahead and take a peek inside this vehicle, and we'll show you how we're going to do this. I'm just going to set that down and get a light out here. Like I mentioned, this is an accessible vehicle, so we've already got this thing kind of apart, and I just kind of put it back together to just show how this thing normally sits in here. So this entire seat in here, of course, moves. So let's go ahead and move this thing out of our way, and we can kind of see how we're going to work on that. So this whole thing motorizes back, and then, of course, with the controls, you can have that seat go up, you can have the seat go down, and then you can turn it so that you can get it out of here. Then, of course, all the motorization has been done to the side door to get in and out here as an accessible van. So what we're doing is we're going to mount that secondary battery inside the vehicle. Now, these are AGM batteries, so they don't gas off like a normal lead-acid battery does, which allows us to be able to put them inside of a passenger compartment without having to worry about all the ventilation that a lead-acid battery would actually require. So what we did was we already took this thing apart. We got this plate so it can be removed. And we found enough room actually to mount this thing pretty close to the factory battery by tucking it underneath this powered seat here. So had to do a couple things. First off, this bracket here had to be moved. So that bracket, we basically just had to move it out of the way so that there's enough room for our battery to fit. And what we're going to do is we're going to weld a couple of plates. I've already got those made up here. This is approximate where these are going to go. But basically, we got a couple of metal plates going to sit in here, and then we're going to take that battery tray, and that's going to rest in here about like that. Those metal plates will get welded to those brackets, and then we'll bolt those brackets down to the floor. There's a couple of channels added to the bottom of this van, so we have to avoid those. That's how Rollx runs all their wires underneath the vehicle, so we have to make sure our bolts are far enough out to get this thing to fit. And then once that's all bolted and mounted down, of course everything will get painted and rust proof, so we don't have to worry about any issues with that. That'll be all nice and super secure. Of course, fused both batteries. We'll have a fuse inside the vehicle here for this battery, fuse up front for that battery, 4-gauge wiring connecting between the 2 of them. And then we'll assemble this thing, put this cover plate back onto here, and that will just slide right over the top of that. And for the most part, you won't ever know that the battery's in there This allows us to keep the battery very close to the factory battery. We only got, you know, probably 6-8 feet of wire in between there, rather than having to put the spare battery all the way in the back, have excess large wires, and of course that gets in the way of the storage compartments in the back. So this is actually a pretty cool little project we got going on. I will come back to another video once we got this thing all welded all up and bolted into place and put back together and kind of show off how it works. So stay tuned. We'll be back after we get the rest of this put together. Quick shot showing the layout. That's how this thing's going to get put together. Took off some of the paint on that. Welding always works a little bit better with the paint off. Has a little bit better finish. That'll work out well. So we'll run a bead across that, a couple of spot welds underneath to tie up the bottom. That'll work out nice. All right, we got this all welded up. Laid down a couple of nice beads on that. Put a couple tacks on the back side. We'll go ahead and get this thing primed and painted and get it installed. All right, Jeff at Sweet Sounds back again here with this 13 Honda Odyssey. We got this all finished up. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this all turned out. So once again, it's the Stinger AGM battery mounted up under the hood. Use a high quality, it's actually a marine grade fuse holder, so it's easily serviceable. Pop that, bottom pops out, easy to work on. Obviously we got to put the vent tube back onto there. That'll work out real nice. 4-gauge wiring installed for that. We ran both a power and ground front to back between the two batteries. It's all loomed up underneath the hood. Of course, grommets where it goes through the firewall. Nice, clean, and solid. Let's go ahead and slide around here and take a look at the inside. It's actually worked out really, really nice in here. So that's how the battery sits in here. We got the floorboard all back together. And back up here a second, take a look at it from back here. So how we worked out, we welded on those two bottom plates as shown on those other videos there. Got that bolted down through the floor. Of course, those bolts have undercoating on the bottom side of them to keep them from rusting and whatnot. Same thing on the opposite side over there. As I mentioned, we had to extend that out a ways so that we cleared that channel. Wire inside, we used the matching nylon loom inside there. Same fuse holder for ease of service as far as that goes. And then we had to reroute that wire and the bracket that holds that wire so everything fit properly in here. So let's go ahead and move this seat forward and turn it straight here. And we can go ahead and move this hole forward. And you notice as that moves forward, it's just going to cover that battery right up and fit right back into how it's supposed to fit into there. So works out super slick. It'd be really easy to service if it ever does need to be serviced. Back right up, all the wires and everything slide right along where they need to be. So pretty cool little job we did here at Sweet Sounds. It's not something we normally do like this, but when customers have some needs, we try to help them out whenever we can. So if you're looking at getting any work done on your vehicle, check us out online, sweetsounds.com. Give us a call, 507-345-8863. Thanks.